This is Tom Eckman.
And this is Charlie Grist. So I think the advent of the market momentum and non-programmatic savings is really evidence of a sort of adherence to Eckman's law, if you will, and observing this industry and this marketplace over the last 30 years, I sort of evolved that there are three attributes that move markets, and Eckman's law is that you can make inefficiency disappear if you make it immoral, you make it unprofitable, and you make it illegal. Those are the three legs of the stool, or Eckman's law, if you will. It's like Ohm's law. You can put those three together.
Like the law of nature.
Any law of nature, yeah. But this is one I've identified after looking at 30 years, and we've now had a cultural shift to make waste an immoral activity. We've done it with recycling. We've done it now with energy efficiency. We've done it with water and all kinds of other things. So once you've made something immoral, it's possible to make it a law to avoid that. If you don't have the cultural shift, then you don't have the majority of people thinking that's the wrong thing to do and you can't make it illegal. And once you can make it illegal, you can often make it unprofitable, but not always. So you have to have the technology to the point where profitability of the energy efficiency thing is greater than profitability of the inefficient thing. And once you have those three things together, it's pretty much unstoppable in terms of where things go. Absent those three things, any one of them that's missing, you'll stall out. I think the simple answer to that is we've been investing in energy efficiency to the tune of hundreds of millions of dollars a year since 1983, and we've got $2 or $3 billion in the last decade invested in energy efficiency. In an economy in the Northwest, that's not a huge amount of money, but it's very focused. And as a consequence, we've developed an entire industrial sector, if you will. I won't call it the military industrial complex, I'll call it the energy efficiency complex, energy efficiency utility complex, if you will, who's out there, and their job is to make money off improving efficiency. So you have a huge network of trade allies, a huge set of manufacturers who make money out of selling efficient products compared to inefficient products. And without the utility leading the way, utility system leading the way in those investments, that infrastructure wouldn't exist. But now that it does, and it's institutionalized, it has grown up and is now starting to move on its own, because they're not just doing utility jobs, they have to feed the family doing both, utility jobs and non-utility jobs. And so they're looking for opportunities to build their business independent of utility programs, now that they have a core business called the utility efficiency program. But outside of that, we've got trade allies in lighting that span the entire region. 15 years ago, they didn't exist. And as a consequence of that, they're out there moving the market independent of utility activity right now. But because of the utility activity, they are in place. And that's why the non-programmatic is much bigger than it was. We didn't have to look at it very much because before there wasn't that momentum, there wasn't that marketplace.
Well, the other thing too is that there's more entrepreneurial capital chasing after clean tech and green technology, because investors are noticing the world's recognition of we can't keep using this much energy and using up resources to do it. This is a worldwide phenomenon. It's not just a Northwest ecotopia phenomenon. China invented efficient power supplies in part because they couldn't get enough copper to build the old ones, and in part because their load growth was so phenomenal. They're looking for, and they couldn't build enough coal plants to meet it. So they started looking at inventing new ways to make this thing that they make for the whole world less resource intensive and more efficient. And then there are entrepreneurs looking to make money on that kind of new investment, and that's one of the other sort of drivers, the green wave of things. The other one that we haven't talked about is there are I just call them standard customer preference and market shifts in place. I think in the last 8 years, we have completely turned over the TV stock in this country, from cathode ray tubes, analog receiver cathode ray TV tubes, to flat screens that are, you know, receiving digital input. And that was a multi-phase thing, but that whole stock completely flipped in, you know, less than a decade, because the new thing was better, easier to see, faster, cheaper, easier to place in your living room. There are trends in consumer products that sometimes drive efficiency savings, and sometimes they go the other way.